Since October 2023, Israel has killed over 50,000 Palestinians, including thousands of women and children. The international community has repeatedly condemned these actions, yet Israel continues to blatantly disregard international law. Today we are breaking down 7 of the most egregious violations of international law committed by Israel since October 2023. Israel's military has carried out mass killings, inflicted starvation, and forcibly displaced thousands of Palestinian civilians in Gaza. These acts constitute war crimes and crimes against humanity under international law and violate the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Code, specifically Articles 7 and 8. Israeli forces have killed hundreds of Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, often using disproportionate and indiscriminate lethal force against civilians, journalists, and medical personnel. This breaches Article 6 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, or ICCPR. Entire neighborhoods in Gaza have been leveled, with homes, schools, hospitals, and critical infrastructure reduced to rubble. The deliberate targeting of civilian infrastructure is a war crime under international humanitarian law and violates the 4th Geneva Convention. Article 53 prohibits the destruction of civilian property by an occupying power, while Article 55 requires occupying powers to ensure food and medical supplies for civilians. Israel's siege-induced starvation in Gaza is a clear violation of this obligation. Israel has continued to expand illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, in violation of international law. This breaches Article 49 of the 4th Geneva Convention, which prohibits an occupying power from transferring its civilian population into occupied territory. It also violates Article 2 of the UN Charter, which prohibits the use of force against territorial integrity or political independence of any state. Reports have surfaced of Israeli forces using sexual violence, reproductive violence, and other forms of gender-based abuse as a weapon against Palestinian civilians. If proven, these acts constitute crimes against humanity under international law and violate the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW. Israeli operations have included extrajudicial killings, the use of Palestinians as human shields, and desecration of bodies, each of these acts constituting grave breaches of international law and violations of customary international humanitarian law. Additionally, Israel has consistently violated 2 fundamental principles of international law. The principle of distinction, which requires differentiating between military targets and civilians, have been disregarded in mass casualty events like the Kamal Adwan hospital attack, and the principle of proportionality, which limits excessive force in conflict, has also been ignored, with over 35,000 Palestinian deaths reported by 2024 as a result of disproportionate force used in densely populated areas. Israel's actions since October 2023 reflect a violation of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. The mass civilian casualties in Gaza and the ongoing blockade have inflicted conditions intended to physically destroy Palestinians, including widespread hunger and the destruction of essential infrastructure. These actions violate Article 2 of the Genocide Convention, which prohibits acts committed with the intent to destroy a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. In 2024, the International Court of Justice ruled that Israel's action could plausibly violate the Genocide Convention. Israel's actions are not just violations, they are flagrant breaches of international law, and the world cannot continue to turn a blind eye. The international community has an obligation to act, whether through sanctions, diplomatic pressure, or legal accountability. Silence and inaction only enable further atrocities and undermine the very foundations of international law.